Okay, hi everyone. Thanks for taking a minute to watch this video where we're going to walk through the final Tableau project for the semester that is running this week. And then also we're going to quickly run through the signups for the state auditor's office project. So this should just take a minute, but I did want to take the time to run through it with you just to make sure that we were all on the same page. So within this file that you're seeing here, this is going to be up on as the instruction sheet to the assignment that's posted in eCampus. You can see that we're going to be working with the September of 2025 State of Oklahoma purchasing card data. The State of Oklahoma data is some of the same stuff that we use in that you guys use in your actual tech labs. So what I've done is I've gone out and I've got one of the more recent months worth of data, and each month has a lot. It's 37 some thousand rows. So we're just going to do 1 month with this because there is so much. Um, but the way I've got it separated out, I think it'll still work pretty well. So let's run through it. So basically, this analysis that you're going to do basically replaces what would be an exam for the course. And it should, though, be fairly straightforward in that I've tried to reference it to the different tech labs and the different things that you've already worked on. This will be an individual project, so you won't be, working as a group on this one specifically. That said, there shouldn't be a lot of problems with being able to get through it individually. Especially if you've gotten through the rest of the course, this one should be okay. Um, you'll be submitting your Tableau workbook that you saved, and it's going to be from Tableau Desktop, not from Prep. So you're going to be submitting that, and then either a Word or a PDF file that where you answer my questions that I have written out below. Um, so that's what we're going to be doing. I put a link down here to where you can go look at the data if you want to. Um, so what I've done, you'll receive the full Excel data set specifically for September of 2025, and I've actually got it right here. And what I did is I went through and freeze that for you guys. There we go, freeze panes. So I went through and I gave a brief description of what each one of these categories is. So that's what all this is just a brief description. A couple things to take note of. One, whenever you're looking at anything for date, we want to use the posting date. The posting date is what lines up with September. Obviously, the transaction date, because things could take a day or two to clear the bank. The transaction date is going to be, running the different months. So you'll want to use September. And then right beside of the post date here is this column highlighted in yellow. I made this column. I didn't, there's no formulas, there's no anything. I literally just skipped down through each of the weeks and labeled them as week 1, 2, 3, 4. And there might be a few days in, yeah, week 5. Now, I did this, I sorted everything based on date whenever I went through and I labeled it with the weeks. But then I resorted it. No. So it should all line up with the appropriate weeks. Um, you can see this went through September 15th through they go backwards. It's kind of weird through the 22nd. Uh, actually, looks like there might be some dates that got mixed up. I will sort this, I will redo the weeks, and then I will put. So once you see this posted, like these September 10th should not be in week 5, they should be in week 2. I'll fix that. So whenever you look at it, you will see the week that corresponds with the actual posting date. I honestly don't know why these are all out of order unless they're sorted by whatever this row ID is. Um, anyway, I'll fix that. You won't even see it, such that it is now. It'll be fixed before I upload it. All right, but anyway, those weeks, once they're corrected, are what you're going to use for some of your other testing. That's why that column is there. So let me jump back over to uh, the instructions. Okay. So let's talk then through the different parts. Okay. So part one, basically, you want to load your data. Um, and I wanted to go through, look for any missing or duplicated transactions. There may not be. And then do just the basic summary statistics on it that we did in chapter two. Pretty straightforward. Again, I don't want it to be overly complicated. Um, do with them what you can. If there's something that isn't working out right, that's fine. But again, just do the summary statistics as best as you can. And then, any outliers or anomalies, again, this is your project, your work. I don't have a specific right answer that I'm checking it against. I'm checking it against, did you go through and make an attempt to do the different pieces of the project. If you identify something that someone else doesn't, that doesn't mean either one of you are right or wrong. As long as you're both, going about it from the right perspective of, hey, I'm trying to identify things. There is no hard and fast limit of, well, this means anomaly and this doesn't. So that is your discretion. You're going to have to make that decision. So that's part one. You'll and then the usual take a screenshot of it. Even though I'm going to have the file, I still want to take a screenshot of it. And then provide a brief paragraph describing the data and highlighting any key findings. Hopefully there's at least something you can talk about. Part two, I want you to create a dashboard. This is where weekly spend trends and see total spends by the MCC is the merchant category code, which you're going to get very familiar with whenever we do the state auditor stuff. And then the top 5 vendors by spend. Again, we're doing it by weeks because there's so much data. I didn't want to give you 2 or 3 months because you have 100,000 lines of data, which is a lot. And then again, you'll want to submit your workbook with your spend analysis tab will be, it's all going to be in the same workbook. And then paste a screenshot of it in your Word file. I don't need you to do anything else with it. Just put the screenshot there. And then part 3 is where I want you to think about, some of what you've done, identifying the top 30 spenders in each of these different areas. Agency is going to be, the different state agencies. Vendors are going to be which vendors are getting, used the most. And then merchant category codes is going to be, which codes are being, reported against the much. And so each one of those things could hide, some interesting details. So knowing what the biggest 3 are, and I want you to compare it week over week for the month of September. And then, think about, look at it, are they consistent each week? Does it change? Do you have different ones every week? Like what does the data look like? Are there any vendors that exhibit an unusually high transaction amounts or frequency? Usually it's Amazon, at least in my experience. With most other stuff, it's Amazon because a lot of stuff gets ordered from there. Analyze weekly spending trends. If there's any, again, outliers like we talked about before. And then last, assume you work for the state and that you're responsible for reviewing the data. What are 2 things that you would do or the procedures that should be completed on a regular basis to make sure that unauthorized activity isn't happening, to make sure that people are using their purchasing cards in the way that they're supposed to. So the deliverable for part 3 is providing a written analysis of those 4 questions. should be well thought out, submitted in paragraph form. And I put here these questions combined should only take 1 to 2 double-spaced pages. Like I don't expect you to need a book uh, to answer these questions. They're pretty straightforward. Um, and then I have my caveat here, and I'm very serious about it with this final project. Use of generative AI. Obvious use of generative AI to complete the project will result in the project grade of 0 points. And that is going to be, I'm going to be pretty much a stickler for that. If I can take one look at what you've turned in, and I know for a fact that you didn't do any of the work yourself, or you didn't do any of the writing yourself, you just dropped the file into, one of the Chat GPTs or Claudes or something, and told it to do it, then you're going to end up not getting credit for it, because when you do those kinds of things, it becomes very obvious. So don't do that. It's not worth getting a 0. Here's a breakdown of how I'll be grading it. Each student will submit 1 Tableau workbook and 1 Word or PDF file with written answers and screenshots. And here again, cannot stress enough that you won't get any points if it's obviously a Gen AI produced document. So it's not worth it. The 30 minutes you're going to save yourself, it just isn't worth doing. So, all right. So that's it. That's the run through of the assignment. Again, we looked at the actual data here. It's pretty straightforward. Nothing big there. Now, the other thing that that I wanted to bring up here is, let's see, I thought I made, yeah, this is the right page. So you should see at the top of your sections, at the top of your content, this team sign up link. And if you click that, it's going to take you out to this Google Sheets document where I've added enough blank spaces that everybody should be able to go in and sign up for a team. It looks like we've got 1 team signed up already. And so I've got 57 students registered, assuming all 57 are able to complete the class. You'll need to be in one of these teams. If you don't know, anyone that you would like to work with in the class, and you see a team that has, a couple open spots where maybe only 1 or 2 people have already signed up, feel free to drop yourself into that team's into that team. Please note that there will be part of your grade will be based on your team participation. Everybody's expected to participate, and it can significantly hurt your grade if you refuse to participate. I know we're all busy, but this is probably the most important part of the class, is getting through the state auditor's office project. And so you have to be present, and you have to be available to work with your team if you expect to get credit for it. So go out, sign up. You have to have a team leader named. Not at least, only 1 person, because that's going to be the person that submits your stuff. I don't need 4 people to submit the exact same document. I just need 1 person, and then I can share the grade accordingly. What else? Mix ID, that's your 3 initials and your numbers. That's not your 800 number. Please don't put your 800 number in there. That's not your mix ID. And then section ID, you're allowed to mix sections between 703 and 704. You do not have to only work with people that are in your current section. You can work with people from both sections. What else? I think that's it for now. Once I get everybody in here and signed up, I will assign months. And that'll be here in this file also. I'm still waiting on, I've got an NDA still coming in. And once I get that, I'm going to be getting the months assigned, or I'm going to be getting the data from the state auditor's office, and I will be getting the months assigned. So you should see that in the next in the next day or two. There's not really anything else you need to do with it this week. Your focus this week should be the final Tableau project. So that really needs to be the focus. But just please don't forget to get in and sign up for a team by the end of the week. So that's it. That's all I've got. I'm going to get this posted for you guys. I will go and fix that uh, week's problem that I noticed there. And as soon as I do that, I will get all this uploaded. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, keep looking for videos that'll be coming out where I will be talking through each part of the state auditor's office project for each week. I'll be going through it and posting stuff for you guys. So be sure and keep a lookout for that. Otherwise, have a great day, and I will be talking to you guys soon. Thanks. Where's the recording? Stop recording.